Hey guys, happy Monday. I hope that you had a good weekend and that you are enjoying time with your family. And I hope you're finding ways to connect with your friends, maybe through Zoom or Google Meets or even just talking on the phone. I know this is a hard time right now to try to stay connected to our friends, and so I hope you're finding ways to do that. And we're entering our second week of at-home learning. You guys did a great job last week, so keep up the good work. If you need my help, as always, please email me or send me a message on Google Classroom, and I'm here for you guys, okay? The plan for this week is we're going to do 2 more days of review. So today I have a Google Slides assignment for you. And then on Wednesday, I'll release another Google Slides assignment that will also be a review. And then we're going to test next week. So if we're back at school, great. If we're not, then we're going to find a way to give you the test online. So be on the lookout for that. Kind of know that that's what's coming up. So we're wrapping up this unit and we're going to be done with the data and statistics unit. So that's the plan for this week. I'm going to jump over and do some notes with you guys. If you'll get out a sheet of paper and kind of follow along, I think that will be helpful for when you go to the assignment, if you've already done some of these practice ones with me. So grab a sheet of paper and something to write with. All right, I'm going to do 1 box plot, 1 circle graph, and 1 line plot, just to give you a little bit of practice with each type of graph that you're going to see on your test next week. So the box plot and the box and whisker plot below represents the daily high temperatures at a beach in April. And it says, what is the median high temperature? Remember, in your box plot, this is minimum. This line here for the box is Q1. The middle line in your box is the median. The outer line is, I'm writing this wrong, is Q3. And the maximum is all the way up here at the end of the whisker. Okay? So if they're asking me for the median is that middle line in my box plot. And so it looks like here we've got 70 and here we've got 80. Looks like we're counting by 2s. So that would be 72, 74, 76, 78, and then 80. So my median would be 72 degrees. If they ask me for the range, remember range is your maximum minus the minimum. So the maximum is 84. The minimum is 62. So my range would be 22 degrees. They could also ask you for the IQR, the interquartile range. You're going to have one of those in a minute on your practice on the Google Slides. And so the IQR is how much is inside this box. It's this range. That's the interquartile range. So from Q3 to Q1. So Q3 is 78. Q1 is 68. So that would make the IQR 10 degrees. Okay? We're going to look at a line plot here. The line plot shows the number of books read by the students in Mario's class. What was the average number of books read by the students? So average, that's another word for the mean. The mean is the mean one. I have to add them all up and divide by how many there are. Well, each star represents a student that read that number of books. So I've got a 1, I've got a 2, 3, 3, 3, 3. So in order to find the mean, I'm going to have to add all of these up. So I would probably add each row and then add them up. So there's only 1 1. There's 2 2s. That makes 4. 3, 6, 9, 12 for the 3s. 4, 8, 12 for the 4s. 10 for the 5s. 18 for 6s. There's only 1 7, 1 8, 2 9s, which would be 18, and 1 10. And then I would do some grouping. I showed you this in class before. That helps when you're trying to add so many numbers. So we've got 17, 12, and 10 would make 22. 18 and 7 would make 25. 8 and 18 makes 26. And then we've got another 10. It's just going to help if you can kind of do some grouping. So we've got 17, 22, 25, 26, and 10. Two, 4, 6, 8. Oh, good. They add up to 100. And then in order to figure out what I'm going to divide by, I'm going to go count how many stars there are, because each star is a person. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Perfect. It's nice they gave us nice, easy numbers. So what's my mean going to be? 20 goes into 100 5 times. So my mean would be 5. With a line plot, we can also find range. We can find median. We can even find mode. Which one shows up the most often? 3 has the most stars above it, so 3 is the mode. The range is the biggest minus the smallest, so there's a star on 10, there's a star on 1. 10 minus 1 is 9 for the range. And then the median, I'm going to cross off from each end, because that's like crossing off the least and the greatest, the least and the greatest, least, greatest, least, greatest, back and forth. I end up with 2 stars in the middle, and that makes sense because it's an even number of stars. If I have a 4 and a 5 in the middle, then my median would be 4.5. Okay, and then let's look at let's do a circle graph. We'll do this one right here. Let me adjust a little bit. All right, the circle graph below represents the number of students that take each world language class. Use the information given to determine what % of the graph German makes up. I'm not going to do that part. I'm going to show you some other things that come up with circle graphs. I'm just going to pick a number for my Spanish here. Let's do, it's more than half, and this is almost half. So that would make 225, so I'd say probably 250. Let's say this is 275. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay. So, some questions that can come up with circle graphs. They can ask you to find, we could say, what % is German? Or what % of students like or have German class? I'm not sure exactly. Yeah, are taking a German class. So there's 100 that pick German. And I have to know that's German out of total. So I've got to figure out how many total students. So there's 100 for German, 125, and you won't have to do this guessing part. They'll give you enough data to be able to figure that out. So I just filled that in to make our problem a little easier. So the total number of students is 500. And if I want to know what % that is, remember that % is always something out of 100. So pause your video for a minute and then see if you can solve that. Okay, so how do I get from 5 to 100? Well, I would divide by 5. And 100 divided by 5 would be 20. So 20% have German class. Or they could also give you a question that says, like, if I had all the percentages here, they could ask you if
600 students were surveyed, or if 1,000, let's do that. If 1,000 students were surveyed, then how many chose French? Okay, that's making a prediction or inferencing. We've done that before, and there's one like that on your Google Slides. So I want to show you. You would take whatever data they've given you. They've given us actual numbers, not percentages. But if they did give us a percent, then I would just put 20 over 100 equals something over 1,000. But in this case, they gave me actual student numbers. So I know that for French, it was 125 out of 500 because I already found the total. That's French out of total. So if I want to know if there were 1,000 students, then 1,000 would go with the denominator, and you should be able to solve that almost in your head. How do you get from 500 to 1,000? Times 2, and 125 times 2 is 250. That would be my answer. So you're setting up those proportions and solving for the missing piece. Okay, so now that's the end of our notes. Go ahead and go back to your Google Slides and start your assignment.